there he is.
All right, there we go.
Sorry, that's my fault. I'm learning how to use this Zoom group function. So welcome everybody to preserving your culture while maintaining a distance. Like I said, it's a wild time. We are figuring everything out together. So welcome, and I'm excited to have our panelists here. Really quick, I'm Courtney Bradley, for anyone that doesn't know me, founder and chief purpose officer of Trilogy. And typically we're talking about how to help people create kick-ass workspace through their furnishings in their physical space. That's pretty much disrupted right now. We're helping people convert their homes into productive workspaces. And through that, though, I've seen there's a lot of information on how to transition as an employee, but not a whole lot of information out there about how to lead your teams in this crazy time. So I thought, why not reach out to these three Kansas City experts and get their input on how they are going to help people through this time. So quick housekeeping items. If you see, everyone should have a chat box. If you have a question, feel free to type your question in there. There's also a specific Q&A section. You can also type a question in there. I'll see those on either screen. And then everyone's muted for the best sound quality, but if you need elaboration or you have a follow-up question when that question gets answered, then please, there's a raise your hand feature. Go ahead and do that, or type, can I speak? Or hey, I have a follow-up, and I can unmute each listener or attendee so that we can have that interaction that way, because I want it to be as interactive as possible, right? Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to just take a second to introduce everyone. So Andrew Dowis, welcome. Got your Pro Athlete sweatshirt on there.
I do, yeah.
You are CEO of Pro Athlete. It says on LinkedIn that you are a professional meeting attendee and a bad chit chatter.
Yes. You will see both of those today. Very strong. So,
excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
It also says that you lead a company that's working to be about way more than the numbers, that you are trying to change people's lives for the better and create some awesome memories along the way, and that for you guys, it's all about experience. So if people know him personally, I know that they understand that fully. If you're familiar with Pro Athlete, I'm sure everyone gets it. So we're excited to hear what you have to say today.
Awesome. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. And then Frank Keck, the one and only Frank Keck, CEO of Core Build. Frank has worked in corporate training, management, and organizational development for over 17 years. He believes that workplace culture is important because it helps each individual in an organization become the best version of themselves, helping them and their organization thrive, improve bottom line results, and improve their customers' experiences. His three core values are love, curiosity, and courage. I love it. Welcome.
Good morning.
And not last but not least, Lidia Young, CEO of Rethink Leadership Now. Lidia is a licensed specialist of clinical social work, which is psychotherapist, with 20 plus years of executive coaching. Got my pages all jumbled here. Coaching experience, and as a clinically trained holistic professional, Lidia has a track record of significantly and consistently increasing individual performance, as well as improving team cohesiveness and effectiveness. That's impressive.
Wow.
Wow. Awesome. Well, let's get started. I love all the comments thus far. Your shirt is very popular, Frank.
Thank you. I think it's interesting too, Courtney, just if you look at the diversity in where we all are.
Yep.
So I got pushed to the basement because we're having school upstairs.
Yes.
I think you're in a storage barn or something.
I am in temporary office space that is even more temporary than just being outside my office. I have a home right in the middle of construction. So my pretty super productive office that I'll have built in there is not quite ready yet. We don't even have sheetrock up. So I'm in a warehouse basically.
And then Lydia has that beautiful, very elegant living room. And Andrew's got the Pro Athlete, like he's ready to go bat 1,000.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, that is awesome. Everyone, we're all making the best of the situation. Okay, so let's get started. First question, with such massive upheaval in everyone's daily routine, what are some things that leaders can do to keep their culture strong and engagement levels high during this time? So, Andrew, I'm just going to start with you, and we'll just round robin that way every time.
Yeah, it's definitely been tough. For those of you who know a little bit about Pro Athlete, culture's kind of everything for us, and we, have 12 core values that we try to live out every single day with basically every decision we make. And I think, for us, we kind of, have to start deciding what kind of things during this time do we need to pause and things like that to kind of get through until things kind of settle down and maybe people start playing baseball and stuff again. Because that's, we sell bats and gloves online. And so with no baseball, there's really no point for our business. So what we did, we started going through and, we said, we can't compromise the core values, even at this level, because what would we look like to our employees,
Right.
to the city, to the world, if we started saying those don't matter just because of this? And, I think it's definitely been difficult. We've done a lot of meetings just like this to kind of keep everybody in line and stay together. And it's been a lot of doom and gloom for everybody. So, I'm just urging people to do as best you can to, bring some smiles to people's faces and stuff right now, because you can only imagine what's going through their heads working from home, maybe not being in the loop and exactly what's going on with the business. So it's definitely been challenging, but I think communication by far is the number one thing. If you have an idea of what direction your business is going, I think, getting that message out there sooner rather than later is a good thing. You don't want to surprise anybody. Even if you don't know exactly where you're headed, I think communicating during this time is of the utmost importance.
Right. Absolutely. Frank?
The first week when we're on spring break and school was canceled, and I think most of us were kind of like doom and gloom. First of all, is this real?
Right.
And once we saw that this was something that really needed to be paid attention to, it was like, okay, so now we all have to stay at home and the world's going to stop, and how bad is this going to be, and am I going to make it? And so as I've been having calls all week with some of my clients, we let people vent about that for a few minutes because you got to get that out. But then I think it's, okay, what do I want to choose to focus on? And if my mindset is not right, how in the world am I going to lead you? And so really helping people to be focused on, this isn't going to last forever. We don't know how long it is going to last, but when it does end, right, you've got all these people that have been at home for a month and they all come back to the workplace. Now what? How do we start to think about getting stuff ramped back up? But I think the most important thing, kind of what Andrew said, is you got to have that right mindset of, let's do what we can. Let's stay focused on and remember who we are and why we're here. But I think that's is really important for us as leaders. So every day, what are you doing to get your own mind in the right place? And so just meditation and talking to the right people, like talking to well, gosh, the three of you, man, that would be like super day. But I think just talking to people that you can be able to vent for a few minutes, but then say, okay, let's focus on where we're going. So I think that personal mental outlook is huge.
That's good. That's good. Lidia?
Yeah, so as leaders, you are critical at this time. What people need in all times, whether they're good times or not so good times, they need a sense of psychological safety in order to be productive. And even though you can't guarantee what's going on, you can be that touchstone of creating that psychological safety by being really engaged, communicating a lot, being someone that is really dependable on communication. And it's not about you can guarantee anything, but that they can depend on you for being honest, authentic, being in their corner, understanding what they're going through right now, empowering them to be as healthy and productive as possible. If they're struggling, encourage them to use their EPA benefits if they have them, or to get support elsewhere in addition to their coworkers. fear and courage are not mutually exclusive. So if you as a leader are afraid for your business, for what's going on financially, that is a-okay. Not that you need to share that with your people, but you can share the courageous act of showing up and being dependable, that they lean on you and can know you're going to be straight with them and communicate with them and really care about them.
That's awesome. That kind of, you and Andrew both touched on that communication. That was kind of the second question. We actually had two questions come up in regards to how, as leaders, to both ease the fear during this time as best you can, even when you're scared and you don't know what's coming up too, but also how transparent should you be in that aspect. Lydia, we'll start with you and we'll go backwards.
I think that's a fine line. So you can, as a leader, sharing all of your financial fears is not wise. Because it's also not their problem.
Right.
And also their problem is, am I going to have a job? So your position as a leader is, how do I keep them as engaged and inspired and committed to my company? So best case, I'm going to need all my people and I need them on board and really, really focused. So helping them to feel that you are doing your best to get things back on track, and you're researching, you're finding out, what you can do, so just really inspiring them to know that you're doing everything that you can.
Good. Frank?
Can you repeat the question?
During this time as a leader.
Sorry.
What? Are you joking?
No.
I thought you might be razzing me. I mean, it's a legitimate thought. How in times as leaders right now in this time can you help both ease the fear of your employees, even though you don't know what's coming and you've got that fear yourself, but then how transparent should you be?
So I'll answer them backwards. How transparent should you be? I would say opaque.
I like it.
And I think you've got to let people know, hey, there's, I'm concerned too, but I think to Lydia's point, they don't need to know, you don't want to create excessive fear.
Right.
But I think also then focusing on letting them have some time to talk about what's going on with them, talking about what can we control. So, okay, what are the things we can't control? Well, what can we control? And having some of those conversations, and then making sure that people have purposeful things that they can do each day, and just maybe even sharing that. So, okay, so today we went out and went for a walk, right, and went around the neighborhood. Today we helped our kids have a little bit of education, and we talked about this with them. Right, because I think you need to be transparent with your family as well. And so just encouraging people to have those real conversations, and to, the people need to talk about this. And so if you can kind of give them that platform, and then you stay focused on this is where we're headed. And then I think to have peer groups. So to call somebody like Andrew, even though he's not good at chit chat, or so he says, right? Or to call Lydia or yourself and just say, hey, I need to vent.
Right.
I've got some concerns. And so somebody that's safe, that doesn't work for your company, probably shouldn't call a client, but somebody who's that safe third party.
Right. Good stuff. Andrew?
Yeah, I think a couple things, piggybacking on a few things they both said. We know, the employees are probably going to use each other as sounding boards, but we also made a point to keep our therapist going during this time so they could reach out. So we, a couple months back, started with an on-site therapist that everyone could go talk to. And we're going to keep that going through Zoom and stuff like that, so people have a place they can go.
That's awesome.
Talk. And it's not, they don't have to come talk to me about it. I'm
Right.
here if they need to, obviously, but there's probably better avenues for them. And so we're going to keep that intact. But I try to put myself in their shoes. We went through this exercise yesterday because we've got an all-staff meeting today at 3 where I'm going to be talking about this stuff. And we're very much an open book company, 50 people. It's like a family. And, you know, I think in a lot of their minds, they're thinking the worst.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you say, it's probably going to be better than what they're
Right.
imagining in their mind.
Right.
So I believe to tell them as much as, you know, you reasonably can, you know, and I think it's important to have a plan in place, but also tell them, as you know, this is changing by the hour.
Right.
It seems like by the minute. You know, what I said 5 minutes ago is already irrelevant. I was doing a kind of an all staff meeting in the middle of all this before we shut down. And I said, well, as of right now, the Big 12 tournament's still on. And someone goes, actually, it's not. And then I said 3 or 4 statements that they go, actually. And when I started that meeting, those things were all a go.
Oh my
And
gosh.
and it's just like, that's how fluid the situation is. So, you know, I think you have to give them, you know, some sense of like, you know, this is where we're headed, but this is also what could happen if things don't turn around. Because what I don't want to do is, you know, things get, you know, in the doomsday scenario and you're telling people, hey, we got to lay you off next week. I would rather tell them now that like that's a scenario that may happen. You're adults.
Right.
We're going to do everything in our power to avoid that together.
Right.
But just know, like, we can't pretend like everything's status quo anymore.
No,
and
absolutely.
They've got to be able to handle that decision, and we're going to do everything together to avoid that.
Right. And something I did just this week is, you know, I have a small team, and we had our Zoom meeting. We're trying to touch base twice a week via Zoom, so that like at the beginning of the week to set goals, and at the end of the week to kind of follow up and see how it all went. But one of the things I specifically told them are the actions that I'm taking as a business owner, reaching out to my vendors and, you know, can we get creative terms? Can we, you know, and it's not an issue for us right now. It's just that I'm preparing, if this goes on for any extended length of time, what are my options down the road? Again, like you said, you'd rather know. And I said the words, it is my goal to not lay anyone off. And my newest employee was like, as your newest employee, I appreciate you saying that, because, you know, they didn't know and I hadn't said those words yet, but that is 100% my goal, is to not lay anyone off. So, yeah, we'll just keep going as best we can. Okay, so question number 3. At what level do companies need to evaluate their processes to kind of ease that transition as people working from home? Andrew?
Oh, wow. You know, being an e-commerce company, we kind of practice working from home a lot. We let people work from home, and you know, something that I don't think we've done enough of is stuff like this. We haven't forced ourselves to do a lot of these type of meetings. It's been, you know, pretty interesting and actually, you know, kind of good to go through this, because it also allows you to see if, you know, things did get bad, an unrelated incident, there's a fire at your building or something like that. Right. It's like, hey, this is kind of showing us that we're kind of pressure testing some things during this time. And, yeah. And so, you know, I've been pretty impressed with our staff. I urged everybody to kind of keep their meetings and stuff in place, you know, just do it, but do it via video conference and stuff like that. But I think it's definitely a great time for everybody to look at all the systems you have in place. And it's also a good time to say, why have we been doing this one? Nobody really pays attention to it. It's time to just put that to the side. And then, oh, we need to do more of this one, and so on and so forth. So it's a really good time to assess operations.
Kind of test things out.
Yep, absolutely.
Right.
So I think this is kind of like forced innovation. And so at the beginning, I was with a client, Andrew, kind of like you. We were in a meeting when everything started going, like, changing, and we were out of town. We were at a conference in Denver, and so first it was, okay, this major company just canceled all travel, and then it was, okay, now the NCAA tournament was canceled, and then Tom Hanks got it, right, all in a matter of like 5 minutes. And then like 10 minutes later, it was like, okay, for the company I was with, all of their travels canceled. So now everybody's freaking out about, can we get home? And one of the people said, well, what is essential? So that word is now a popular word. What is essential? And I think what was essential 3 weeks ago maybe is not essential today. And Andrew, kind of to your point, what's essential today may not be essential tomorrow. But I think this is a great opportunity for us to say, okay, why did we do stuff the way we did it? Is there a better way? And, you know, as I've gotten to know Andrew and kind of as I went on the tour and stuff, that's something that they do all the time anyway, which is constantly innovate their processes. And so I think this is a kind of a forced innovation to say, why do we do it that way? What is essential? How many meetings could we do online? Do we need to travel, right? So like, what things have we been doing? And now that we can't do them, we don't really miss them. And so I think when this is over, whatever that is, I think the world's going to be very different, because I think people are going to do a lot of things very differently. I was talking to a friend of mine, also in the training business, and he said, I don't know that people are going to go back to the day of a 6-hour training class with a live trainer, right? So who knows what's going to happen, but I think it's a great time for us to be innovative. And I think the people that choose to innovate and move forward are going to be the ones that can really prosper and do the best as they go through all this.
Lidia?
Yes, I agree with both Andrew and Frank. One of the things that I'm hearing from larger companies, or when I've been on a Zoom meeting with many people, having people turn on their cameras is really critical when you just see a black screen or just their photo. And if you're a business owner, you might wonder, well, what the heck are they doing? Why aren't they on this meeting really?
Right.
And, so how can people make commitments to enhancing their relationships and their culture by really showing up literally on the video Zoom call, to really be there to see, because you can sense the level of someone's engagement much more when you can see their face and their body language. So things like that, where yes, I think business is going to change radically, but how can you make remote meetings as productive and human and humane as possible? So having people commit to showing up on time, showing up ready, and being willing to turn on their camera so that they can really interact much more profoundly with their coworkers and their leaders.
Yep. Such good stuff, you guys. I love it.
Courtney, I just want to add to that real quick. Lidia, you had mentioned having people ready to be engaged. And I think it's really easy with people not all coming together in the office. It is so easy for people to stop being engaged. And I think that's one of the biggest concerns is if you have a workforce, well, only 30% of them were engaged to begin with,
right?
The average American company. So if that's going to get worse, how do we keep them engaged? And I think you're right. The Zoom and the different video conferencing products, it is great because you can actually see them, and it's a lot easier to have that human connection, and that's what's so important.
Right. That kind of leads into another question of what are some fun things that can be done? I know people are doing a lot of virtual happy hours and things like that. Did you have an audience? Someone turned the light out on you.
Motion lights.
That's awesome. But things that you might be able to do with your team virtually that, kind of keeps that engagement level because you're still having fun together and things like that. Andrew? Oh, Lidia, sorry.
I love the virtual happy hour idea. Also, as part of your team meeting culture, to have everybody share something, like one great thing that happened that week or that day, or something that they're feeling good about, just so that people also get to know each other better. And it also, if that's the culture of the team meetings, if you're one of, that you're going to have to say something. So you might be much more willing to be ready because either I will be called on or everybody's going to go around and say something.
Right, right. Andrew?
Yeah, so definitely virtual happy hour. I posted something on LinkedIn. We're doing that around the horn meeting today, and I encouraged our teams to do happy hours before that because I'm not that entertaining. So it'll be a lot more entertaining if you do that beforehand. So that's happening today. But we do team challenges you know, wellness is a big part of our business, and we do those, you know, usually on a quarterly basis. So we're rolling one out Monday that everyone can kind of do at home. You know, we have like personal trainers and people that teach yoga classes up here. So they've done some videos that they've sent out to our company that people can, you know, they do those workouts at home, and, you know, just trying to keep everybody united, even though we're kind of divided at this point. But it's been pretty fun to just see people get creative.
Right. That's awesome. Frank? Uh-oh. You're muted.
Wow. Okay. I like their ideas. I was just thinking, why not have a brainstorming session? We've got attendees. I'd love to hear what they're doing. The virtual happy hour is good, except that Rachel and I are on a 30-day
No
no alcohol, no sugar.
But the benefit is you don't even have to drive. You're already home, man.
Yeah.
That's true. But like, what if you did like virtual baseball or virtual bowling or something like that?
KC
You know,
Crew, I don't know if you know, everyone's familiar with KC Crew. Join us today or one of the other days. They've got bingo. They've got Netflix group watching and cooking meals together on Monday nights. So there are some things out there.
And you guys all know Harry Campbell. Harry Campbell is doing a virtual NCAA tournament.
Yes.
That's cool.
The Hawks are really
awesome.
doing well.
That's great.
I bet you Indiana wins.
Yeah.
That's where he went to school.
You're probably right. Okay, attendees, do you have any questions? I've got a few more I can ask, but if you've got one, we'd love to get to those. What's your go-to karaoke song? That's what Katie asked.
That's got to go to Frank first, for sure.
Yes.
My karaoke song?
Yes.
Oh gosh. You know, Andrew, if you'll say one, I'll try to sing it.
You know, I don't know if I want to see this. How about this was my walkout song to our company baseball game. Do you know These Dreams by Heart?
Yeah.
I know it's a riveting walkout song.
It's a great song.
It's a great song. Not the best walkout song,
but Frank's gonna sing it, not me.
Frank, that's what's gonna make this thing go viral. When I share this after, this is what's gonna do it.
I don't know that song. Can you sing? Just sing a bar.
You know, I'm gonna have to let somebody else sing it because, you know, I don't even know it. I just picked it.
So you said that. Now all I can think of is Annie Lennox. Sweet dreams are made of these.
That's what I thought.
There you go. Perfect.
Yes. Okay, why don't you sing that?
Sing. No,
You're turning red.
Who, me?
Yes.
I'm always red. It's pink.
Yes.
So my songs are like heavy metal and stuff, which doesn't really translate well. Some Metallica, some Volbeat, something with some good energy to it.
I like it.
But the karaoke thing is good. So that's what we've been doing with our kids at night. We do the dance party thing.
Nice.
On the whatever the Xbox thing is called. But that would be fun to do, Andrew, as kind of like a social thing with employees, just to have some kind of virtual dance party and just let people be silly.
There you go.
I like it. I do. Katie has another question. She said, "What's the biggest thing you've changed working from home that helps you get through the day personally, besides outdoor walks?" Lydia.
For me, I meditate each morning just to get centered and tap into a place in myself that has more creativity and answers and that isn't worried about the coronavirus.
Yes, very good. Frank?
I've been doing a lot of writing and just, again, thinking about, like what are all the things that I want to learn? And so watching new videos, watching a lot of TED Talks and doing a lot of reading. I'm reading a book called Originals by I can't think of his name. Adam Grant.
Okay.
And just we're so busy, we don't have time to do all these things. And now it's just like, hey, you know what? I'm going to stop and read a book, or I'm going to listen to that TED Talk I never listened to. And then just like journaling every day. So creating new content, but also just a private journal of what did I experience today?
Right.
And what am I experiencing? Kind of like Lydia said, although I'm not as, what's the word I'm looking for? Perhaps diligent about it, but just what am I experiencing right now? And what does that
Living
mean?
in the now as opposed to
being in the moment. Yeah.
That's good. Andrew?
Yeah, so we have a 3.5-year-old, so that's been really fun actually, to be at home and actually, while trying to do some work, you get some of those interruptions and stuff like that kind of just make you puts everything into perspective a little bit. She has no idea what's going on in the world right now, and I kind of wish a lot of us could think that way.
Right.
We're gonna get through this, and it's just pretty cool to see how happy she is regardless of what's going on. So that's kind of been an adjustment for me because I'm usually at work.
Right, she's just excited you're home.
yeah, exactly. It's been a nice break from stressing over what's going to come of this. So it's been fun.
That's awesome. Well, I have one more question, and then we can go back to attendees if they have any more. But what's your favorite local business that they're doing right now, and how can we help support them? Lydia. You guys have a few seconds to think about it.
The Thai Place restaurant is a wonderful, wonderful restaurant. And so I am getting takeout rather frequently and loving their food.
Excellent. Frank?
Well, my favorite local company is Pro Athlete, and I don't think they need any help.
Thank you.
I'm with Lydia. I think just supporting, we got everybody in the neighborhood out. Everyone stood in their own driveway. So we made sure we had the 6 feet.
Yes.
But just getting out and letting people talk and kind of distantly connect and being around other humans without violating the law.
Right.
But because you do want to be safe, but I think just being able to support your neighbors and say, hey, what's going on with you guys? And so I think the financial piece is important for small business, but I think it's also important. And then we have the neighborhoods app.
Right.
And just talking to your neighbors and, hey, is everything going okay? Our next door neighbor's 75 years old. Just make sure that she's got food and is getting out. And then so Andrew's got the 3-year-old. We have 3 kids, but my dad's 87 and he's on lockdown at his retirement home. So we spend time, video chatting and some of those things. So I think it is just like doing some of those things are important, but supporting local people in your neighborhood financially, but then also emotionally.
Right. Andrew?
Yeah. So we like to go out and, try new restaurants and everything all the time. So, blanket answer, but any of those that are doing like the curbside thing, as long as if you deem that safe, which I think, I think you're going to be okay. So I think any of those type of things, are really good. Obviously, I think the one that most people are seeing right now is what they're doing with the hand sanitizer. And I just, want to commend Andy and all his team there for what they're doing.
Absolutely.
You literally changed your whole business overnight for the betterment of the city. And that takes guts. I talked to him yesterday and I said, hey, how's it going? And he goes, I have 1 minute, go. All right. And it's just like finding ways we're trying to see if we can help them. Can we ship the stuff for you?
Right.
And stuff like that. So like finding ways I encourage everybody who's listening that, has a business or works in a business, leverage the things that you've already kind of carved out in your business that are strengths and put them to use for good. If you can do distribution and, you can be open, helping them do that, do it. If you have a PR firm that can help, a company with their messaging, do it. And don't charge. Like, I know that's hard, but like, we all got to get through this together. If we're all going to stay home and do all those things, it'll all come back around, but we kind of have to, you know, do a little sacrifice right now to get through it all. So yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that's great, Andrew. And you know, the other thing that does is it gives you purpose again. And part of this is, okay, my business is or isn't essential, but I'm just kind of stuck here at home. And if you lose that sense of purpose, man, it just makes the days longer. So I love that. Volunteer, go do something that you can do, make a difference.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's a fine line, you know, because you know, we sell bats. You're not thinking about buying a bat right now.
Right.
And so if we're trying to jam bats down your throat, we look tone deaf.
Right.
And so what we did, we sent an email to 500,000 customers and said, what can we do to help you? We know buying a bat's the last thing on your mind. What do you want? And they're like training videos and discounts and, you know, it's all this stuff. It's like, okay, well, we'll go to work and try to figure out if we can do that, but just know we're here for you.
Right.
Like, when we're not expecting you to buy a bat right now. And, you know, in a sense, if we're talking about everybody's safety and stuff first, but when it's time to buy a bat, who do you think they're going to buy their bat from?
Yes.
You know, if you're there for them right now.
Absolutely true. You know, we did something similar, that we have all these chairs that, I mean, I'm in the furniture business and we have all these chairs and people are now working from home in less than ideal situations. So we gave away all our demo chairs as loaners while this is going on. No charge, just come get it, you know, and we, because I want to help as many people as possible. And I know that a lot of people are concerned about the financials of their life right now. And so they're not going to go out and purchase, you know, a couple $100 worth of chairs because this is a temporary situation. So we tried to help as many as we could.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Anybody got any questions? Any more? If not, we're going to wrap up. Do you guys have any final thoughts? Yep.
You know, one of the things that I'm hearing from business leaders is they're concerned with how do you balance that nurturing environment with performance.
Right.
That business owners are also worried about that performance levels are really going down because people are so distracted. So, you know, how do you balance, how do you make that message clear too, that, you know, we're still here, we're still in business, we've got stuff we've got to get done, and still be like this nurturing presence and helping people to remember that they have things to focus on.
Besides, yes.
Goals. Yeah, meeting their goals.
That's good.
Do you have advice for that?
I'm sorry?
So what was your answer to that? Was that
Well, yes. So having that leader ask people or teams, what accomplishments have they done lately that they're excited about? So really focusing on and acknowledging them for their productivity, for what, you know, the goals that are important right now. So just focusing on that as well. Like, so what, in these really difficult times, what were you able to accomplish anyway?
It's good stuff. My dog's making an appearance. Hi, buddy. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for joining. Any other questions? I don't see anyone typing. Oh, yep. Thanks, Katie. Awesome. Well, we're going to wrap up. Again, I appreciate you guys taking time out. I will share this recording, so if you want to hear it again, then you can listen to it, find it on social, and yeah, just thanks, guys. Keep yourselves safe.
Thanks, Courtney. This is a good idea.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.
Bye.